No acquittal. The trial of Officer Caesar Goodson continues after the judge makes a big decision.
Hello again, I'm Lynn Bowie, and here's what people are talking about today. Drama in the courtroom as the defense in the trial of Officer Caesar Goodson begins presenting its case. This after the judge decided against a motion to acquit Goodson of any of the charges against him in the arrest and death of Freddie Gray. WJZ investigator Mike Hellgren is live outside Courthouse East to explain what's happening in court right now. Fireworks, Mike.
That's certainly true. The judge said it was really a close call of whether or not to acquit Officer Goodson of murder at this point. In the end, he decided to allow the case to continue. He was clearly having trouble with the evidence showing a rough ride. And that's when it got very, very heated, when the former lead police investigator took the stand and she accused the main prosecutor of not having any integrity, and he accused her of sabotaging the case. Legal analysts watching the trial of Officer Caesar Goodson say the state presented little evidence Freddie Gray was given a rough ride in the back of a police van, leading the defense to ask for an acquittal. Just one piece of video showing the van going through a stop sign and making a wide right turn. There were no witnesses to the scene and no evidence as to how fast the van was traveling. The state's own policing expert said he couldn't say for sure Freddie Gray was given a rough ride. And a police detective prosecutors called to the stand while introducing the video said he never saw any abrupt movements.
There was a lot of discussion about a rough ride being given, but there was no concrete evidence. And remember, the state has to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Some of the most emotional testimony came from the paramedic who found Gray unresponsive, who testified Gray's neck felt like a bag of crumbled rocks. And she yelled at officers, including Goodson, "What the F did you guys do to him?" She says Goodson shrugged his shoulders. The state suffered a blow when the judge allowed into evidence notes from a detective that cast doubt about claims of the medical examiner's finding of homicide. Their most powerful witness may have been fellow officer William Porter, who said he told Goodson Freddie Gray asked for help, asked for a medic, but Goodson never took any action.
Whether or not the judge could find beyond a reasonable doubt that he was aware of the risks to his life and chose to ignore them, I think is hard to say. It's an issue that I think would probably get to a jury. I don't think it would be decided as a matter of law.
Now, Detective Danielle Taylor is that former lead police investigator on the case. She says she turned over her notes to the defense after prosecutor Jan Bledsoe had a temper tantrum and pushed them across the table. Those notes are critical because that's where she says the assistant medical examiner repeatedly said she believed Freddie Gray's death could have been an accident, a freakish accident. In her terms, things had gotten so heated they called several bench conferences to kind of break up the fight going on in the courtroom. Live at Courthouse East, Mike Hellgren, WJZ Eyewitness News.
Wow, Mike, very intense. Thank you. And here's what you need to know as the trial of Officer Caesar Goodson continues. The judge chose not to acquit Goodson of any charges in a hearing this morning. The defense has now begun presenting its case. The judge found prosecutors in violation for not turning over notes to the defense, but they already had them due to a leak in the police department. Stay with WJZ for complete coverage of the Officer Caesar Goodson trial. WJZ will be in court every day to bring you the latest developments in this pivotal case.